we will add very simple validation. By that, our this registration form would not be able to add a duplicate username in our table. So the idea is we will have only one username assigned to one admin only. So back to my editor, right in this validation scope. So if all of my field of username, password and confirm password is empty, show this all field must be filled out error. If password is less than 4, show this error password should be greater than 3 characters. If password field is not equal to confirm password, show this error message password and confirm password should match. So right here I will add one other else if block. So in this else if block we will have this function with the name of check username exists or not, and in this function we will pass our username as an argument, and in the error message we will show this error message that username exists, try another one. So let's define this check username exists or not. So in order to define this function, I will define this whole function in this file of functions.php because we have only one function. So in order to make this file not to feel empty, let's define that function here. So defining this function that will have the name of check username exists or not, and I have to cut the dollar sign because it's a function, not the variable. So as I have to cut this dollar sign from here. So our username will go to this function of check username exists or not, and then we will come to this file here and we will receive that username in this variable of same username, and here we will run our check. So we will go to our database and specifically this table of admins in the column of username. In case if the username exists in this column, we will show the error message. So in this file of functions.php, we are not including the db.php file. So I have to add the db.php file at the top of my functions.php file in order to work with database. So then in this file I can have this variable because we include this file of db.php. So I will define it in a global scope so that in case if you are working with the lower PHP version, you can still work with this course. So the next line will have this SQL in which we will have this query. So our query will say select all the columns, or we can select just the one column. So it's better to select one column if we have no intention to work with rest of the column. So select my column of username from my table of admins where username column is equal to one named parameter. So I will add this named parameter user name here, and then on the next line we have to first prepare our SQL. So we will have this variable stmt that will use our connecting DB and call the method of prepare in order to prepare this SQL. And then on the next line we have to bind our values on the object of stmt. So calling the bind value method, and here we have to pass our named parameter, that is username, this one, and for its value it would be the user name variable which we are receiving. So we are sending this username from line 24 from here to this function of check username exists or not, and then it will come here on line 7, then it will go here. So then on the next line we will execute our statement. So stmt calling the method of execute, and then on the next line I will have this variable with the name of result that will use the PDO function of row count to count number of rows which are holding this query. So I will call the method of row count of PDO. So on the next line I will have this if condition in which I will say if this row count function which is equal to this result, so if this result variable is equal to 1, return true, otherwise in the else block return false. So it's a very simple validation which we will use later when we will create the login page. So I'm saying here, first of all, take this username by this function call on line 24. And then I'm saying here, run this SQL in which select the username column of my table of admins where the username column is equal to this named parameter. And I'm defining this name parameter on line 11. I'm executing my SQL on line 12, and then on line 13 I'm using one of PDO function which is row count, and I'm saving it in result. So I'm counting number of rows which are holding this query. So in case if the number of rows is equal to 1, we will have the return true, otherwise false. So in the return true we will have the error message of username exist, try another one, and we will redirect to admins.php page. In case if the return is false, we will insert our new admin. So if I save this one, and first let's refresh this page to bring the new PHP, and also we have to save this functions.php file. So if I can show you real quick, I already have the username of Jazib here in this table of admins.php. So if I just add username of Jazib again, name to be John, password to be 1234 12345, wrong password in both fields, publish. I'm getting this error, password and confirm password should match. So if I give it username of Jazib which already exists in my table, and name to be John, password to be correct one 1234, publish. See, I'm getting this error, username exists, try another one. So if I give it one more username which already exists, for example if I give it Tom, so username would be Tom, name would be this one, Muhammad Imran, password would be 1234, publish. Still that error here, username exists, try another one, and here you will not see any new entry. So if I add some username like Jazib321, name to be John, and password, publish, you can see new admin with the name of John added successfully. And here you can see this new admin with the name of Jazib321. So this name field is empty. If I give it some username but not the name and just the password 1234, let's make this username to Jazib89, publish. You can see new admin with the name of added successfully, and here is this new admin. So by using this simple validation of check username exists or not, we have made our system not to add the duplication of username in our table of admins in case if some username already exists.